Never miss the news that matters to you. Follow WWAY on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Now, here's meteorologist Justin McKee with your WWAY Storm Track 3 AccuWeather forecast first.
Tough to complain too much about the weather this midday. Temperatures in the 70s right now, almost zero humidity, and the skies are very bright. This is the view of downtown Wilmington from the Battleship North Carolina on our Skyview camera network. It does look like the weather stays nice into Father's Day weekend. That forecast coming up in a few minutes. WWAY News at Noon starts right now.
This is the place for news that matters. You're watching WWAY News at Noon.
The 16th annual North Carolina Blueberry Festival is here. Now on your News at Noon, Jeff Rivenbark is live from Burgaw with everything you need to know. Plus, Wilmington police need your help finding two men wanted for two separate hit and runs on Sunday. And President Trump defends his comment about accepting help from a foreign government in the 2020 campaign. Thanks for joining us for your News at Noon. I'm Hannah Patrick. Preparations for the NC Blueberry Festival are in full swing right now in Burgaw. With the pleasant weather, festival organizers expect record numbers for the event, which officially kicks off this evening with music. WWAY's Jeff Rivenbark joins us live from the Courthouse Square with more details on what you can expect this year. Jeff?
Good afternoon, Hannah. It is an exciting day in Burgaw, North Carolina. I can tell you that. There's lots of preparation going on right now all around us. There are vendors setting up. About 2 blocks over, we have the whole hog barbecue contest that's going on. And then over my shoulder, we have the contest for all the recipe, the cooking contest. And here with me is Shannon Humphrey. She's the organizer for this wonderful contest. And Shannon, this is not your first time doing this. This is a very important part of the North Carolina Blueberry Festival, isn't it?
Yes, it is, Jeff.
So tell me a little bit about some of the preparation, some of the activity that's going on right now in the community house behind us.
Right now we have 6 judges that are currently trying to decide the best of the best with 97 entries. Last year we had 58 entries, so we have almost doubled the entries.
That's amazing. And I was one of those judges last year, and I got to tell you, it was so difficult. And there's a rubric involved. I mean, they are judged on presentation and the complexity of preparing those dishes and a number of other things, right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, so the excitement has to be pretty high around there. A lot of people anxious to find out if they're going to be the top baker, right?
That's correct, and they were told this morning to come back at 1 o'clock this afternoon to pick up their dishes. And if they were chosen as a winner, there'll be a little slip of paper beside their dish. It will not reveal what place they won, so they'll have to come tomorrow at 12 noon, and I will reveal the winners live.
And speaking of the winners, we have one of those winners with us. We have Melanie. Melanie, tell me a little bit about the, you were the winner last year, if I understand correctly.
Yes, I was. I won with a Blueberry Heaven pizza.
Blueberry, I think I actually sampled that because I'd never really thought of blueberries on a pizza. That's just so inventive, I think. Did you prepare something this year?
I did. I have a pork belly with a blueberry chutney. I also have a pork bites that are here as well. And I have 2 desserts. I have a rhubarb and a blueberry pie, and I have a bread pudding in honor of my grandmother.
Wow. I just want to head over there right now. Let's just stop the show and let's just head over to the community house. Shannon, so much excitement. This is such an important part of the festival, and it's been a really rough year for a lot of folks in Pender County. This is just a highlight moment, I would have to say.
It is, and Jeff, I do want to take a moment to thank all of our volunteers that make this festival possible, as well as our sponsors. You know, at the beginning of the year with Hurricane Florence that came through, we were unsure as to how this festival may end up, and it has just flourished. People have come together, and it's teamwork. It takes teamwork and everybody working together.
Certainly, it takes teamwork and a community working together. Melanie and Shannon, both, thank you so very much. We're going to have more from the North Carolina Blueberry Festival at the end of the show. Back to you, Hannah, in the studio.
I don't know about you, but I'm hungry now. Thank you, Jeff. Wilmington police are looking for 2 people wanted in 2 separate hit and runs on Sunday. Around 12:30 a.m. Sunday, police say the first victim was stopped at a red light at 2nd and Gray Streets when 31-year-old Antonio Marcel Harris allegedly rear-ended him at a high speed, causing $4,000 in damage. Then, around 5:40 p.m., officers responded to a hit-and-run in the 100 block of Chestnut Street. Police say 30-year-old James Philip Murphy backed into a parked, unoccupied car, causing $3,000 in damage, and took off. A witness took pictures of the suspect's vehicle. If you know where they are, call WPD. The caretaker of the 85-year-old Lotta woman found in Columbus County earlier this week has been charged with giving false information to law enforcement. Lotta Police Chief Derek Cartwright said Lila Smith's dishonesty led them astray for the first few hours searching for Jaxie Rogers. He said Smith told them that she left Rogers, who suffers from dementia, in the car Friday afternoon at a grocery store and last saw Rogers driving away in her Buick. Cartwright said they checked the store's surveillance video but never saw the Buick. Smith has been released on bond. Local educators and community activists brought the Education Truth Tour through Wilmington yesterday, all dressed in the color red. As state representatives work to finish up the budget for next year, educators are still fighting to make sure funding for education does not get left on the back burner. The rally was hosted by the NCAE, New Hanover County Association of Educators, and Progress NC. Their Education Truth Tour has also stopped in a number of other North Carolina cities.
We want to make sure that our General Assembly fund public education properly. You know, what's that formula? I think it can be tossed around and discussed, but there is a proper formula to fund education.
The budget still needs to go through negotiations and voting before it is finalized. If you're still struggling with legal issues after Hurricane Florence, there is an event happening right now that could help. Legal Aid NC and the Golden Leaf Foundation are holding a disaster relief clinic to give you advice on legal concerns, which could include insurance claims, FEMA appeals, contractor issues, or landlord or tenant problems. The clinic runs from now until 2 p.m. at the Emergency Services Building at the Brunswick County Complex in Bolivia. Also happening right now, Trolley Stop is holding a fundraiser for the battleship North Carolina. Flags that have flown over the ship will be for sale. 50% of all food sales will be donated to Friends of the Battleship NC. It's happening at 4502 Fountain Drive from now until 6:30 p.m. President Trump celebrated his 73rd birthday with a nearly 1-hour call into Fox and Friends this morning. This comes as he faces intense backlash for comments he made about accepting opposition research from foreign countries. Natalie Brand has more.
Thank you very much, please.
President Trump now says he would notify law enforcement if a foreign government offered up dirt on a political opponent in the 2020 presidential election. The president called into Fox and Friends to make the clarification.
Of course you have to look at it, because if you don't look at it, you're not going to know if it's bad. How are you going to know if it's bad? But of course you give it to the FBI or report it to the Attorney General or somebody like that.
That's a little different from what Mr. Trump told ABC News.
This is somebody that said, we have information on your opponent. Oh, let me call the FBI. Give me a break. Life doesn't work that way.
The FBI director says that's what should happen.
The FBI director is wrong.
President Trump's campaign spokesperson laid out their plan of action on CBSN.
The president's directive, as he said, a case-by-case basis. He said he would likely do both, listen to what they have to say, but also report it to the FBI.
Critics, even some Republican lawmakers, denounced the president's comments, saying it opens the door to more foreign interference in presidential elections.
Simply allowing foreign governments to try and involve themselves in our elections is something we cannot allow, and would be very much contrary to the spirit of democracy.
Ellen Weintraub, the chair of the Federal Election Commission, called on Congress to strengthen laws to prevent foreign interference.
They're trying to undermine our democracy. They're trying to sow chaos. They're trying to make Americans feel disenchanted with our democracy and not bother to go to the polling stations in some cases. This is really dangerous stuff.
And she tweeted, "I would not have thought I needed to say this. It is illegal for any person to solicit, accept, or receive anything of value from a foreign national in connection with a U.S. election. This is not a novel concept." Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
The European Union said Russia continues to try to interfere in Western elections. The EU says Russian online outlets use social media to try to sway voters ahead of last month's elections. A Charlotte couple who lost both their toddler and newborn in a Pender County crash in 2015 is sharing their story of heartbreak and hope in a new documentary. Be Still and Know, the Eddings family story, tells the story of Gentry and Hadley Eddings and their strong faith in God. In 2015, the couple lost their 2 children in a crash on Highway 17 near Hampstead when an impaired driver hit them. The couple forgave the driver. Today, they have twin sons who turn 2 next month. The documentary airs tonight at 10 and tomorrow at 2 p.m. on Inspiration TV. DNA testing is being used on turtle nests all along our coast right now. Ahead, what it reveals about the turtles laying those eggs. And later, Airbnb wants to become a one-stop shop for all your travel needs. See what the company is adding. Let's take a look right now and see what's happening in the Waze community. We are seeing a few different slowdowns around the Wilmington area. First, that typical slowdown for this time right there on College Road and Oleander Drive. Also a little slowdown right there on Pine Grove Drive. We're also seeing quite a bit of slowdown on Oleander Drive and Military Cutoff Road as you get closer to Mayfair, a little right there on Eastwood Road as well. And then it looks like we're also seeing some slowdown on College Road near Randall Drive. And then a little slowdown right there on North Carr Avenue near Market Street. But it doesn't look like we're seeing any reports of accidents. Also seeing a little slowdown on Market Street near Ogden. Make sure to join Operation Gridlock and the WWAY team on the Waze app. We are in the middle of turtle nesting season, and we now know more about some of the turtles laying nests on our coast thanks to DNA testing. Volunteers and staff at the Karen Beasley Sea Turtle Rescue and Rehabilitation Center in Surf City take a single egg out of each nest they find. Each nest typically has about 100 eggs. These samples are sent to a lab at the University of Georgia to be tested to see if they are repeat visitors to Topsail Island. Founder of the hospital, Jean Beasley, says even after decades of studying turtles, she never stops learning about them.
Some of these girls just cake off and go 300 miles away. Good for them. You can never tell what they're going to do. In fact, if there's one thing about sea turtles that I love the most, it's that just when you think you know a lot about them, they do something that shows you just how little you do know.
I love Jean's attitude. From one nest this year, they learned this is the 4th time since 2011 the mother has returned to Topsail Island to nest.
Now, your WWAY Storm Track 3 AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Justin McKee.
This may be hard to believe, especially because we had the big heat back during the month of May, but summer hasn't officially begun yet, but we are now less than a week away from that happening. Next Friday, 11:54 in the morning is the summer solstice. Next Friday also doubles as the longest day of the year. 14 and a half hours or so of daylight on that day. So we are just getting closer and closer to the beginning of the new season. If you look out at Carolina Beach, you would think it was summer because the beaches are just absolutely packed today. People taking advantage of the very nice weather, completely bright skies overhead over at Carolina Beach. This is our Skyview Camera Network. A big thing you're probably noticing about the weather if you are out and about is the big drop in humidity for today. We had a front pass through the area overnight last night, high pressure building in from the west and some drier areas filtering into southeastern North Carolina. So dew points actually below our muggy meter. Those are falling in the 40s this afternoon. You typically don't see that kind of dry air during the month of June. So we're really enjoying that. Also, temperatures slightly below average for today. It looks like we're rising into the low 80s for the afternoon. Right now, Wilmington 78 degrees, 76 Southport, 75 for Whiteville and Elizabethtown. We can take a look at the temperatures aloft to kind of figure out what the pattern is going to be over the next 7 days. So we have this what's called a trough to the north of us, and the cooler colors indicating some below average temperatures for both today as well as our Saturday. But then we go into Father's Day as well as Monday, and it looks like we take a turn for the very warm. Eventually Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week we'll be in a upper level ridge, and we're going to see some hotter temperatures here in southeastern North Carolina. The low 90s possible for the final days of spring, of course, and we'll be kicking off this new season as we go into next Friday, probably with a decent amount of heat here in southeastern North Carolina. We're going to take a look at weather headlines. It's just fantastic outside for our Friday, and it does look like the weather stays pretty nice as we go into Father's Day weekend. That's certainly some good news. As I mentioned, feeling a little bit more like summer next week, and also with the summer weather, we will see the chance for some showers and storms, mainly along the sea breeze on most of the days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The big rain chances we're going to be watching for. Here's a look at our pinpoint futurecast. We play this out into the afternoon. Low 80s in the forecast, 82. The exact forecast for the high temperature in Wilmington for today. You see plenty of sunshine for us, and then we keep clear skies overnight tonight with lows dropping down into the 50s, so maybe a cool start to the day as you're getting your Saturday going. Tomorrow afternoon going to feature plenty of sunshine with temperatures in the low to mid 80s. Doesn't look like the humidity will be too bad for tomorrow. Of course, Father's Day coming up on Sunday, and that day going to feature a mild start with temperatures in the upper 60s or low 70s. We get into the low 80s by lunchtime on Sunday, upper 80s in the forecast, 88 for Wilmington by the time we get to the afternoon. So hopefully that forecast does pan out for all the dads out there. 82 in Wilmington for today, plenty of sunshine, low humidity, the wind out of the north 5 to 10 miles per hour, and then clear skies continue into tonight. We're going to be dropping down into the 50s in many areas. There's your WWAY Storm Track 3 AccuWeather forecast. Really the weather panning out very well for the holiday weekend, and then things look a little bit more active and kind of hot next week.
Can I just say right now it feels amazing outside?
I wanted to just like skip the noon show and just stay outside the whole time.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Justin.
You bet.
Amazon's Alexa is being slapped with a lawsuit. What the device is recording inside your home that's raising questions. Plus, Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston are framed for murder in a movie, of course, when you can find the new flick on Netflix. Amazon's Alexa is facing a lawsuit, and Airbnb is trying to make traveling as simple as possible. Tom Hansen has more in today's Money Watch.
Nearly 1/4 of Americans say they are worse off now than before the Great Recession. This is according to a Bankrate survey in which 54% of Americans said that their wages have still not returned to pre-recession levels. This is despite unemployment rates at near half-century lows and 104 months of healthy job creation. And Amazon's Alexa is being slapped with a lawsuit that alleges the device recorded millions of children without their consent. The household tech device does regularly record audio for training purposes when triggered by a wake word, but one report states that Amazon employees listened to nearly 1,000 audio clips during a 9-hour shift. And Airbnb is making moves in becoming a one-stop shop for your travel needs, adding trip packages and experiences to its list of offerings. The home sharing site has launched Airbnb Adventures, which they describe as bucket list-worthy multi-day experiences. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Tom Hansen.
In today's health news, since federal physical activity guidelines were established in 2008, more American adults are meeting them, but overall, the numbers are still low. The CDC says only 25% of urban Americans are getting the recommended amount of aerobic and muscle strengthening activity per week. That number drops to just 20% for rural Americans. Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston get wrapped up in a murder mystery, and the Men in Black beam back into theaters. Chris Martinez has those stories and more in today's Eye on Entertainment.
Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston reunite for their new movie, Murder Mystery. The pair play a couple on a European vacation who, after a chance encounter, are framed for the murder of an elderly billionaire.
It's just like Death in the Library.
What happens in Death in the Library?
They died. That's why it's called Death in the Library.
Murder Mystery is available today on Netflix. Leonardo DiCaprio says governments and big industry aren't reacting fast enough to the climate crisis. The actor produced and narrates a new documentary called Ice on Fire, which looks at technologies and ideas to help reduce the global temperature rise.
If we don't do this and we don't do it immediately within this 11-year window, we are facing an unforeseen future that no one can truly predict.
Ice on Fire is now playing on HBO. And the Men in Black are back.
Turn it up a few.
The popular franchise returns to theaters 22 years after the original. This time around, Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson are wearing the black suits as they work to unravel an alien mystery. Men in Black International arrives in theaters today. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Well, it's Friday, the sun is out, the humidity is gone. How long does it last? Meteorologist Justin McKee has a look at your weekend forecast when we come back.
One more look at your WWAY Storm Track 3 AccuWeather forecast. It feels and it looks fantastic outside for our Friday. The weekend looking nice as well, and we take a turn for summery weather for the final few days of spring.
Great for Father's Day, for the Blueberry Festival. Speaking of which, this weekend is all about the blueberries. Let's send things over to Jeff Rivenbark, who is live in Burgaw to kick off the North Carolina Blueberry Festival. Jeff, take it away.
Hannah, Justin, I wish you were out here. I'm having so much fun. It's beautiful weather out here. There are lots of things to do. Vendors are beginning to show up. Tomorrow, the festival really kicks into high gear. You got to come out and check this out. Classic cars, barbecue, blueberries. What more could you ask for? And of course, amusement rides. You got to check this out. It's going to be really fascinating. All the fun starts up tomorrow morning. I'm going to start my weekend right now. To everybody, hope you have a wonderful holiday, and we'll see you next week.